At just under 12 feet of floor length and 8.5 feet width, this is one of the largest campers that you are going to see on the market. It was discontinued during the pandemic era and reintroduced for the 2026 model. This is the Eagle Cap 1165. Let's take a look inside and see how much space you can actually cram on a truck. And the biggest question is, how much does this thing actually weigh? We'll look at the sticker on the back, but also we'll take a look at the secret spot that you can find to find the actual weight of each one of these campers as it sits on the lot. Stick with me and we'll find out. We're on the business end here, and as you can tell, it is a 3 slide out camper. That means there is plenty of things on here to give you more space and almost doubling it in size when you are ready to camp. This one has been outfitted with many of the slide topper awnings. You'll notice that on this, the actual awning itself for enjoyment is covering that last slide out, so you won't have a slide out awning on that. The hanging steps allow you to go anywhere and drop them at any time. Uneven ground, not a problem. You don't have to deal with the extending legs on those as well. This is outfitted with a ton of outdoor storage, and outdoor storage is at a premium when you have a truck camper. Let's take a look around and see what we actually have, starting with the rear here. All right, with that rear slide slid in, we now can see the main storage area on the rear of the camper. It's going to be easily accessed when this is up on a trailer, or sorry, up on a truck, which this is going to overhang a lot higher, so you can stand a bit better under it. But if we look on the back here, starting from your right, you've got your propane tanks there. It is 60 pounds total on propane, and moving on to the largest storage compartment, which gives you a huge garage with this sliding tray, giving you a lot more space that you don't have to go climbing way back in there to get at. Up here you do have your waste valves that are all tucked up nice and neat, so those are all insulated as well, and that'll drain out to your driver's side on the rear there. Easy access to all of your Lippert electronics and to some of your ducting as well as your low point drains. When you have such a large camper, utilizing the space smart is a different ball game. When you're really, really small, you're confined a lot in your space and usage in it. And I think when you start to expand the amount of space that you had to play with, a lot of manufacturers can get sloppy. In this case, Adventurer and Eagle Cap has done an excellent job of making stuff easier to access and utilizing that space a little bit more effectively. On the last side here, to the driver's side, you're gonna have your battery compartment. Right now, we're just running one 12-volt battery in there. You can put a variety of different battery pack systems in there for whatever your needs may be. So when we come around to the driver's side, this is the last bit of storage area. This actually is a compartment for the generator. This one is outfitted with a 2500 Onan. That's gonna be able to run your ACs, microwave, a little bit higher draw items. And then as we move forward, on this slide, you are gonna have 2 different compartments. This is gonna sit underneath the dinette. So you do have more storage on the exterior there. For a truck camper in general, that's gonna be some of the most storage that you're gonna get, just because there's so much space on this camper as well. It's like many of these campers that are really well built, you do have a molded fiberglass front cap that is gonna take all the brunt of everything that you're putting at it driving down the road. As we move along here, this is gonna be your frameless thermopane windows. Again, a great 4-season camper. All of the pipes and everything are tucked up inside, well insulated. It's gonna be 2-inch thick foam insulation on all of this with a aluminum framing, keeping it nice and sturdy. I mean, look at this overhang. They're gonna have to put a lot of structure in there to make it something that's gonna hold up for the long term. The roof material is gonna be a TPO, keeping it nice and flexible. It's UV resistant, so if you are staying in Arizona or those hotter places that's getting a lot of light, it's gonna hold up pretty well. That awning is gonna extend. This is the full extent of the awning. We're getting it in a little bit of high winds, but you can tell it's doing a pretty good job of holding it up. And I have some good protection under here, getting a lot of nice shade, especially on this bright day. The jacks on here are gonna be happy jacks. You've got 4 all the way around, capable of pulling this up and down This is set up for a dually with dually brackets. I would definitely not recommend whatsoever that you put this on a single rear. Always check to see what the best truck to put on, or this on, is. If you have any questions about your truck in particular, or a truck that you are looking to purchase to put this on, feel free to give us a call. We'd be happy to walk you through anything that you might be curious about. But one thing I will note is looking at the sticker on the back doesn't always tell you the actual weight of this camper. So I'll show you when we get inside where to find the actual weight of the camper sitting on the ground. So upon entry on here, you are gonna have a keyless entry, which makes it really nice, especially if you are a little bit forgetful and leave your keys inside and lock it up. But as we open it up, let's take a look at how big this guy is. And that would be one thing that you should take into consideration, is that if you are traveling around, you want to jump into the bathroom, this is going to be a camper that you will have to put out many of the slides to be able to get to that bathroom, because right now I can't even get inside with this rear slide pushed in. All the buttons are lined up right here for each slide room. This one's going to be second down. We'll push it out, we'll go inside and take a look. All right, one thing to note when I step inside here is the ceiling height. It's 76-inch ceiling height. I'm 6'5", so I'm gonna be a little bit above that. And so if I stand up straight, I'm gonna have to cock my head. If you are lower than 6.5 feet, you are gonna be doing it just all right in here. It gives you plenty of room. I don't feel cramped because it's so wide, but I do feel like I do have to duck a bit in this camper. But as far as amenities, when you walk in here, you do have great storage. That's right off the bat here. That's going to be nice and deep, almost the entire depth of this wall right here. And that gives you the option of both shelves and a hanging locker. They have used these other latches that are plastic, but they seem like they're going to hold up a lot better than those traditional rollers with the little pin on it. Now, on these cushions and everything, that's a big question. How comfortable are they? Now, it's going to take you sitting in it to find that for yourself, but what I find is being able to have this table right here on a swivel is going to be really nice. The comfiness is, it's firm, it's supportive. It doesn't have that much of a lean on it as you sit here, but if you do reach down, you do have a lever, you'll be able to recline, and it reclines without pushing it forward or moving it around. So as a 6'5" person, I can actually recline on there pretty well. And I'll show you the flip side, because one nice thing about this is that's different than a lot of other campers is the TV positioning is absolutely perfect for these recliners. It's right over the kitchen, and we'll take a look at that in a second. So for reference, I am walking in from the doorway here. We flipped around almost 180 degrees. This is the kitchen area. It doesn't keep you out of the action. It actually puts you right in the middle of the action. You've got your dinette right there. You've got your recliners right there. Again, this sleeps 6 people. So you have plenty of people that can fit in here, and you want to be amongst them all. This is the great place to be. A nice prep area right here where, again, you're still in communication with everyone. A split sink, which isn't tiny. So you do have a little bit of room to actually wash your pots and pans. A nice little soap dispenser, as well as your faucet with extending hose. And then you are going to have on the wall here, obviously, your 12-volt TV, which is directly across from your recliners. So a great place to be able to watch TV. Actually, everyone in this area can keep abreast of what's happening on there. And then you have your solar controller right there. This is where your pantry space is going to be. So spice rack all the way up and down. And then you have a lot of storage actually underneath this island, so I'll show you that in a sec. On this side, it is going to be your 3-burner stove, the nice glass top. You do have 5 different dials on here, so you do have a small oven underneath, which is going to be a Dometic. And underneath that, you have a pots and pan holder. That's going to give you a little bit more storage space. Just to give you a better idea of what the storage space in this kitchen is like, it is a little bit smaller. It's almost like being in a ship. If you're able to rock back and forth, you'd be able to do just fine because you're kind of sandwiched in here. But it makes it more intuitive when you are cooking, flipping back and forth from the stove over here to the sink and the cutting area. In the storage space, this is going to be a lot deeper. It's going to go almost up to here on my arm, and then all the way back to the back. And then you have your organized drawers all the way down. Again, if you look at the drawers, they're all going to be solid wood in this, which gives you a lot more stability. And the slides on there are going to be pretty solid as well, all the way down. Now, I know I've teased it a bit on this, but what is the actual weight of this? If we look at the specs, it's going to be down in the 4,000s, maybe high 4,000s, but as it sits, it's going to be completely different than what it says online. So you really need to check either with your dealer or with the specs that are located on the inside of the camper. And if we look in here, the place that you find that is actually in this cabinet next to the TV. You'll see on the door that you'll have the actual weight with factory installed options, and that's what you want to look at when you're sizing up your truck. This one, if it's going to be off of just the manufacturer specs, it's going to say it's 4,966. If we go with the actual weight with factory installed options, this is 5,517 pounds. So over 500-pound difference that you're getting with the actual factory installed options versus what they're going to say online or on the back of the camper. So always, always, always make sure you contact a dealer or talk about the specs with your truck with a truck dealership to make sure that your truck can handle this camper. We're more than happy to answer any questions that you might have, so feel free to reach out below and we'll answer about any fitment type for this camper in particular. So over 5,500 pounds, this camper is large. And why? We're only halfway looking through the interior. This dinette right here is going to start the second half, and it is an excellent spot to be able to eat and hang out, as well as turn into a 42-inch by 66-inch sleeping area. Enough for small kids and maybe one large adult that is really curled up. This is positioned really nicely. If I'm sitting in this seat here, I have access to talk to everyone in here. I can see everything. I can see out the back. I can see out the side. So a lot of bringing the outdoors in. One of the greatest things with truck campers, and what I love about them so much, is their versatility. You are not jockeying for position for trailers that are 30, 40 feet long. You're not trying to maneuver into campsites. And you have the ability to go off grid so much easier at the drop of a hat. If this is connected on the back of your truck, you're able to go for long periods of time, especially with a camper this size. You're also able to just go for, a spontaneous weekend and bring all the comforts of home with you. So you are relaxed and refreshed if you're going back to work at the end of a long week, or if you are just spending a long time out on the road. So let's move forward, check out how big this bedroom is, as well as what the bathroom looks like, because those are big questions for a lot of campers. And before we get fully into the bathroom here in the bedroom, let's take a look at what's in the storage space in the hallway here. This is going to open up to a nice deep storage area, enough to put a bunch of blankets, any of your towels, accoutrements in there, backpacks even. Great storage spot on that. And then you have these deeper storage bins down below. A consideration that you have with a truck camper is going to be a wet bath or a dry bath. This is an example of one of the largest dry baths on the market. This is going to have a very large shower in here, and I'll step inside to show you that one of the drawbacks to this is tank placement and where that shower is going to sit and how small of a headroom there's going to be for an individual that's 6'5" to be able to take a shower. But if I step in here, there's a little bit of a dome, but I'm definitely ducking my head a lot to be able to shower in this. There is plenty of space to spread out, but and then another additional benefit is this is going to be one of those shower curtain rods that bow out, so you're getting another 6, 7, 8 inches coming out. So as you turn side to side, you actually have some room to move around. So even a taller individual, if you are having to crouch down in here taking a shower, you do have the space to kind of maneuver in here. A great shower head, a little bit more upgraded. You can move it around, especially for those who can't really duck down here the whole time that they're taking a shower. Now, because this is a dry bath, the shower portion is secluded from the rest of the bathroom. So there's plenty of space for me to walk around in here. You do have some storage on here that does have a sliding rack. So you have a little bit deeper storage, easy access if you want to put shampoos, conditioners, makeup, anything like that in there. You do have a medicine cabinet up above the sink. The sink is going to be a smaller sink. but you have a lot more space to spread out. A 110 outlet is for easy access if you need to run a blow dryer, charge your electric toothbrush, anything like that. And then a smaller cubby down here, and then a little bit of access to the plumbing through the basement of the sink. Now that we've shuffled around a little bit, you can see how sitting on a toilet might be in here. Again, as a dry bath, I'm not sitting in the shower, which is really nice. I have plenty of room here to move around so my knees aren't bumped up against anything. And so the nice thing about this is they've dedicated a lot of space to the bathroom and still doesn't feel like it's taken away from the rest of the camper. Now, two things to note down low here is one, the ducted heating. This is great because it is the lowest point of your camper that the heat's going to come in from. And as heat rises, it's going to be able to heat from your toes to your head. And that is a forced air system, which does fantastic in cold weather conditions, especially for such a large camper. And one of the other things to note is actually what I'm leaning up against here. This is the step up to the bed. With a lot of truck campers, the bed height gets really high up and gets cumbersome to get in and out of. This is actually a traditional size bed height to be able to get into. You're just gonna have to crawl up to the bed itself. But as far as getting up this, it's a breeze. As we look at this, this is going to be a queen size bed. For a truck camper this large, you might expect to have a king, but they really preferred to give you the amount of space to move around as well as the storage options, which there's a large ward on this side of the camper, the passenger side, that we'll be able to take a look at so you can see. Another thing that you'd note is me just sitting here, I can sit up tall and I'm not hitting the ceiling. That is giving you a lot of space to make this feel more like a bedroom than just a cubby that you might be sleeping in. And the brightness in here this is probably the brightest part of the camper itself, with a nice bright escape hatch and skylight, as well as these LED strippings that are up overhead that are daylight balanced, so they're nice for adding to the light that's already coming in through the windows. A window on both sides, even though there is a ward over there. And then you have your hanging locker up top, as well as your regular drawers on either side. Now, if I were to lay down in here, one thing to note too, for someone who is taller, if I lay down, I do have the ability to hang my feet over a bit, which isn't necessarily an option on some other campers. So let's take a look around the other side and see what we're missing from this angle. So now that we're flipped around on the other side, this is going to be the passenger side, front end of the camper over there. This is going to be that large ward that I was talking about, a whole hanging locker, and that's about 1.5 feet deep. Now, if you've got a lot of cocktail dresses, nice suits, you go out to dinner parties, that's a great place to put all of it, keep it nice and neat. Or if you're just storing your regular outdoor clothes, that's a great place for it too. Good window on both sides, so that makes it look a little bit larger in here, gives it a bigger feel. And then we'll flip around once more. You can kind of see a better angle of what this TV is. So now we flipped around a little bit more towards the rear of the camper. This is going to be your 12 volt TV. Great positioning for lying up in bed, watching a movie. You could definitely watch in this. You could watch TV out there and in here and not be bothering each other. Another great amenity to have for longer trips, especially if you're going as a family, sleeping more people in here. That gives you the ability to really take advantage of this camper, have your free time, have separate time, and still be in a cohesive experience. So better than ever and back from the dead, the 1165 Eagle Cap is ready for your next adventure. If you're interested in this model in particular, or how this may fit on the truck or vehicle that you're looking to put this on, feel free to reach out to one of our sales associates below. They are well versed in being able to match you with the right truck, with the right camper. We would much rather send you out the door with nothing than something that is unsafe. Now, if you want the pricing and availability of this camper, feel free to follow the link down below, and we'll see you on the next one.